Hey, welcome to a very special Project Camp video. Special for a few reasons. First off, we never upload in winter, never ever done that, this is the first time. Second, it's been 5 years that we've been here. We came exactly 5 years ago in the winter here, so a good time to reflect to see what we've been doing. And also third, it's a challenges video, so we're going to talk about our current challenges, which is not really special actually, we do this every 8 video. However, this challenge is kind of a big and important one that will define the future of Project Camp, what we're going to do. So I'm very curious to hear your thoughts about it. So let me take first this opportunity to show you guys what Project Camp looks like in winter. First thing right there. Look, it's a little lemon that is growing and will be ready soon. As you can see, everything is getting really nice and green again. The lake is filling up with rainwater. The trees we planted are growing. The grass is seeding. The swales are taking the water. The firewood is getting wet, but not everything. Mushrooms are growing. The lagoon is filling up. And the waterfall is going strong. Wait, let me show you what's fun. Yeah, lots of water. Yeah. And the neighbor likes to drop his sheep on our grass, so we get some nice free fertilizer. Well done. So that's pretty much winter in Project Camp. Not many projects going on. It's raining a lot, very empty and calm. Most of the people are gone. Some of us are still here, but even us, we go in and out because we visit friends, family, recharge, do other stuff. That's pretty much winter. If you do want to see more about what happens in the winter, because every now and then something does happen, make sure to support us on Patreon, where we post every now and then an update so you can follow it. Anyway, it's starting to rain more, so let's go inside and have a look at the past 5 years, how they've been. I forgot to mention that actually supporting on Patreon helps the project a lot, because the more people supporting, the more income we have. Especially in this winter time, we start planning next year. So the more people support, the more projects we can take on. And just for this special winter update, we added a little gift for you. If you sign up for Patreon now, you get a 90% discount on the first month, so you can give it a try. The offer is there until the end of the year. You can go to our Patreon, the link is in the comment below. You can sign up for Project Camp and add the coupon code WINTER. And actually, you can also gift this membership in case you still need a last minute Christmas present. Anyway, let's go! That's better. So as I mentioned, this is also the 5th year of Project Camp. And I figured it would be a good moment to go back, because you kind of forget. Every week you do something, but if you zoom out and go back to the beginning, to see all the progress done. So for those who have been following along for a long time, you might have remembered those first early days when it was also very rainy in a van with some wet socks. Yeah, it was very wet. Hard to keep things dry. But work had to be done, because it's a big piece of land. And one of the first things was unloading the containers. Inside was a workspace and a kitchen. We also found a well close by and hooked up water. Nice fresh showers. We installed some solar panels on the roof for electricity, built a toilet, we built a clay oven and a pizza hut. Yeah, to be dry, but mainly to eat pizza. Also added some plants. Making a pretty nice base camp. Later on, we also added another container for storing more dry materials and all our landscaping tools. Meanwhile, we also discovered structures around us. I mean, covered in lots of spiky bushes, so we had to free them up. Some were made of bricks, others from granite, from being very big to pretty small. We started renovating them, like this very sketchy ruin. We rebuilt it and turned it into our office. And nothing is straight in here, but it's still standing. And we found this old granite ruin. We rebuilt it the old school way, slow and heavy. with natural materials inside, and it's now ready to be used. We also needed more places to sleep, so we renovated this old yellow post van that was full of leaks in the roof and converted it into a nice bedroom. We went to the scrapyard and bought an old rusty trailer used to transport pigs. And we turned it into a cozy home. Very colorful on the outside. Yeah, thanks for that. And we got another old trailer. This used to be a fridge to transport meat. I'm not sure how we end up with all this meaty stuff, but we renovated this one as well. Now it's also a cozy home inside, with lots of reused materials in there, like a basketball floor on the ceiling. We actually spent quite some time recycling materials, making a roof from recycled plastic sheets, or a roof made out of around 500 old aluminium drinking cans, or collecting all our plastic waste and melting it into new hooks. It's a fun challenge to recycle. And besides discovering all these structures, we also discovered other things, like this old granite well, or this fully overgrown water reservoir. We cleaned it up to see what's underneath all of that, and reshaped it to make the edges less steep and avoid corrosion. So now we can store more water. We even found a full underground pipe system connecting to it. Yeah, wild. We also found an overgrown waterfall with some sort of a metal gate. We cleared all around it and fixed the metal door, so we could close it and take a swim. Very nice in summer. And besides all this fun stuff, we also did a lot of fire prevention. As the area around us has a lot of wildfires, this is actually a very high risk. The land burned down before in 2007, 2017, so yeah, 2027? Which means we spent a lot of time making the land more fireproof. Trying some experimental techniques, but mostly it's chopping lots of mimosa trees. Yeah, you've seen us doing this a lot. Creating piles of them. And then we rework the landscape. We take the roots out and shape it in a way that it can retain more of that winter rain. And on top we plant native and fruit trees that are less likely to burn. Yeah, this work will take us many more years. And in the meantime we also got to know many neighbors. George, Fernanda, Tenekesh, Antonio. We give them the wood of the mimosas we chop down, and they help us mow our grass. Occasionally we help them harvest potatoes, corn, grapes, and at the end always a snack at their place, which basically means a lot of wine. And meanwhile we upload a video for you guys each week to show progress, straight from the office. It's quite cool actually having so much videos of our journey. It helps to see the difference. Look, here's base camp.
Before?
After. A lot of work has done since we first came in that van. Slowly a community starts to appear. So yeah, quite a lot of work done in these last 5 years, and this was literally all possible thanks to you guys, because you watching videos and supporting on Patreon is the direct income for this project. But also many of you actually drop by here to spend your days, weeks, months even in here to build this place. By now over 100 people from around the world pass by to help out. And actually if you want to come for next year, the applications for season 6 are open on the website. You can go to support.projectkamp.com and sign up to help out, whether it's building, making videos, cooking in the kitchen. Have a look, you can find all the applications there. So we built all that stuff in the last 5 years, but we always had in the back of our minds that we're setting up our basic infrastructure. So on the one hand, the physical stuff, like a house, water, electricity, toilet, to make sure we can just be here, but also income streams to make sure the project can financially sustain over time, and building a team that can hold this project in the long term. So all these basics are set up, still a lot to improve and can always be better, but the basic operation is kind of running, which allows us to look into the future. What are the coming 10 years of the project about? And we always know the project is about trying to live more sustainable, but you can do this on so many ways. That's also why we always say we're not sure how it's gonna go, but let's see. That said, we learned a lot by being here to know, on the one hand, what does this land need, but also what is needed in the region, but also what can Project Kamp do in the world for the rest of the people. And we got a lot more information, so now we can start really thinking more about the future of Project Kamp, which is really exciting. But as we're doing this, we also realize it's quite challenging, and some stuff is quite contradicting, because there are multiple ways how you can try to live more sustainable, but they don't always go hand in hand. So I want to present you a challenge. It's a bit of a complex one, but I think quite fundamental for the future of this project. And I'm curious to hear your thoughts on it, because it will help us to steer a bit in making the plan for the future. But let me show you on the computer. So this is going to be a bit more nerdy, so get ready. Alright, so let's get into it. So yeah, at Project Camp we have this big mission ahead of us, because we're trying to figure out how to live sustainable. I'm not sure how it's going to go, but let's see. But one thing we do know is that we're focused on doing it in a community, because we believe it has a few upsides. On the one hand, you can share your resources, so something like a ladder you don't need to individually own, but many other things as well, because you can share them. And also, if you put all your money together, you have much more purchasing power, so you can buy better quality tools and products, but also find better suppliers. You can set up better local food supply systems, or even grow it yourself. Together you have much more collective wisdom or intelligence to take on more complexity. There's a much stronger social fabric, so if there's a problem you have much more people around you that can support. And together you can just take on bigger long-term projects, for instance regenerating a big piece of land. So what we're doing here is we have setting up Project Camp in one place in the world, but the goal would be that we have information that others can use so they can replicate it as well and live more sustainable. That said, we're not there yet, we're just getting started. So for now we only have this place. And yeah, it's this piece of land in Portugal that you have seen and we are building here. But the question after 5 years is a little bit, what is it actually that we are building here? And what is it that the people sign up for when they come? Because we have some people that have the intention to come and live here, and some have the intention to come and work. So you could say this one group wants to live a sustainable life, and the other one wants to prototype sustainable technologies and methods to share with the world. But yeah, you could say this one is a residential community, and this one is more of a research project. Yeah, and there's quite a difference between these, and let me give you a few examples of the difference between them. So for instance, in the weekend, and we had this example ourselves, so in a residential community, the people that come there to live, they're going to be there long term. They need to find a balance between life and work, make sure they recharge, so naturally in the weekend they want to relax. People that see this as a research project, they come for a short amount of time, they want to get a project done, deliver something useful, so they would prefer to work in the weekend. But yeah, as you can imagine, someone making a lot of noises and grinding makes it very hard to relax. So these two in the same space gives a bit of conflict and friction because they both have a different intention. And there are a few more examples where this is clashing a bit. But before going into it, let me first put on a block of wood because it's getting a bit shit. So yeah, in terms of energy levels, the residential community is aiming more for a calm, balanced lifestyle, and the research project is in high energy with lots of development going on. But another one would be around the social structure. So in the residential community, it's quite stable. You have many long-term people and not many changes, which is nice. In the research project, it's way more dynamic because you have lots of people coming and going. On the one hand, maybe experts that bring a specific kind of knowledge, but also people to come and get knowledge, for instance, on events or workshops. So many more people flowing in and out. In terms of privacy, a residential community is much more private because you're just living there. And a research project is much more public facing because you have all these people coming and going, but maybe also publicly sharing your research. In terms of construction, so in a residential community, you kind of want to use proven building techniques that you know just work to minimize errors and problems. In a research project, you kind of want to push it and use actually experimental new techniques to learn more about how to build with different kind of materials. In terms of shared values, in a residential community, a kitchen would be clean because you all agree on a similar mindset, just like you would, I don't know, if you live with your flatmates together. But in a research project with many people coming and going with different backgrounds, you rely much more on an organized system to keep it clean, to make sure everyone just does their task and then it's clean. And in terms of activities, in a residential community there would be a vegetable garden and a functioning biogas to cook on daily, just because it's more sustainable. But in a research project you would have a vegetable garden and a biogas system to experiment, learn and document it. So in terms of a mindset, in a residential community, it feels much more like life, and a research project much more like work. So the purpose is also quite different, as in a residential community you would kind of live an example, and a research project you would develop an example. So yeah, as you can see, you have these two different options, and each one has quite different activities and mindset. So then the question is, what is Project Kamp? Is it a residential community, or is it going to be a research project? Or there's even the third option, which I guess we have been up until now, is just combining them both. But yeah, we see some issues with combining both, because being a research project plus living sustainable at the same time is often clashing with each other, as you just saw in the examples I gave. And we can never be a real living example, as our activities are much different from an actual residential community. For instance, our income model is way different, or we upload videos to YouTube, which you usually wouldn't do if you just live somewhere. And this means we also have much more extra jobs like video makers, coders, UX designers, so we need to house much more people, cook many more meals, and have much more infrastructure. So this is a bit the question we're dealing with now. What should be our focus? I'm curious to hear your thoughts or if you have other insights to this topic. So that's pretty much it. I'm curious to read your comments and see what you think about it, so we have something to chew on in winter and can think about. So yeah, drop them below. For now, thanks for watching. If you like what we do, make sure to support the Patreon, and see you in the next video somewhere in spring. Yeah. Bye.